Layman reporting to you live from Channel 2 Action News. What? This just in. Marilyn Monroe is spotted walking into a restaurant called Gino's. You never heard of Marilyn Monroe before? Well, let me give you a quick glimpse of her past then. Marilyn Monroe was born as Norma Jean Morrison on June 1, 1926 in Los Angeles, California. Growing up, Monroe spent much of her time in foster care in an orphanage. One of Marilyn's only memories of her mother was when she was in her crib and her mother tried to smother her with a pillow while still in the crib. Marilyn had a half-sister, but they were not very close, and they only met 6 times. In 1937, a family friend and her husband, Grace and Doc Goddard, took care of Marilyn for a few years. The Goddards were paid $25 weekly by Monroe's mother to raise her. The couple was deeply religious and followed fundamentalist doctrines. Among other prohibited activities, Marilyn was not allowed to go to the movies. But when Doc's job was transferred in 1942 to the East Coast, the couple could not afford to bring Monroe with them. So when Marilyn was 7 years old, she returned to a life in foster homes. Marilyn confessed to the police that she was sexually assaulted several times. She later said that she had been raped when she was 11 years old, but the only way out of being sexually assaulted was to get married. So on June 19, 1942, she got married to her boyfriend Jimmy Daugherty at the age of 16. By that time, Monroe had dropped out of high school at the age of 15. Daugherty, who was a merchant marine, was later sent to a South Pacific. So Marilyn went to work in a munitions factory in Burbank, California, where she was discovered by a photographer. By the time Daugherty returned in 1946, Marilyn had a successful career as a model and had changed her name to Marilyn Monroe in preparation for an acting career. Marilyn's marriage to Daugherty fizzled out as she focused more on her career. The couple divorced in 1946, the same year that Monroe signed her first movie contract. She would soon become one of Hollywood's most famous actresses. Though she wasn't intentionally considered to be star acting material, she later proved her skill by winning various honors and attracting large audiences to her films. Marilyn was one of the first women to be overly sexual and play sweet, naive, and innocent characters at the same time. Prior to the 1950s, the bulk of feminine film characters were comprised of vampy brunettes like Theda Bara or innocent blondes. Marilyn broke this barrier, and this can also be a feminist achievement because she helped to break down the age of old Madonna. Marilyn was also one of the first women to challenge her artistic rights, leaving Hollywood at the peak of her career in 1955. She was the first woman to set up her own production company, which helped in the breakdown of the rigid studio system. She was also a liberal leftist known ties to communists during a time in Perona. She was a champion of equal rights in the time of segregation and racism. She was the advocate of the civil rights. Marilyn showed women to not be afraid to show or express themselves to the public, and to not be afraid of their size and weight. To this day, Marilyn Monroe is still a big symbolism to the girls and women of the United States. More and more people look up to her to be their role model.